Oh, I'm live. Cool. Okay. So it finally started working. No one's here yet. And so I guess I just wanted to tell you guys, let me know in the comment section how you're hearing me. I can go get a little bit of mic. Hi. So I've been sick for the past week. It's been miserable. If you guys saw me just on Instagram, oh my gosh, hi everybody. If you guys saw me on Instagram, like I was a lot more congested. I just took Afrin and I don't know if that was the right idea or not. This is going on the fourth day. I was supposed to not take it today, but then I was just like, Stan and Wyatt are coming to Seattle. And so I might as well just be like not miserable when I hang out with them and then be miserable tomorrow when I have work. So, anyways, I was so sick. I think yesterday I couldn't even breathe. Like one of the nurses tried to suction me with this nasal tip thing that they suck on babies and nothing even came out. So they got this really long tube. It looks like imagine like a really like thin spaghetti or like a little thicker than a spaghetti probably, and they like stuck it in my nose and then it's supposed to like suction all this stuff, and they couldn't even get it past my turbinates because it was so swollen. But yeah, I've been feeling miserable and there's no days off. I think I told you guys on Instagram that for our program we only get 20 days of vacation every year. And excuse me, still sick. And if you if you call out sick, they actually take those vacation days from you. So you can actually you schedule like, okay, I need to get my thoughts straight. So when you're scheduling vacations, you get to schedule 4 weeks. So like 1 week here, 1 week there, 1 week wherever. So and then the last week you have to wait till the very very end of the school year because then they save that time for like sick days. So if you're not actually sick, then you get to take that vacation. But if you are sick, then they just take those vacation days away from you, basically. Um, I had already scheduled that last vacation day for Wyatt's birthday and to celebrate that for he's turning 2. And so I would hate to have to take those days just because I'm sick. Like I honestly feel like death. And every day I go to work. I wake up either at 5:30 or 6 to get to work by 6:30 or 7, because our motel room is 30 minutes away. And then um, and then by the time I get back, which is around 7, 7:30, I just take off my contacts, go to sleep, and not even eat dinner. Like I don't have the energy. And I don't even have the energy to sometimes even FaceTime Wyatt and stuff. So um yeah, there's no PTO. The only PTO you have is your 3 week vacation. So I'm basically working through it. The caveat is that if you go to work and your preceptor thinks you look like death and you need to go home, then they can send you home. That will not count as your sick day, but you still have to go in. Like if you call in from home, then they will use your sick day. And the same thing with maternity leave. I think a lot of you guys were asking about maternity leave as well. And I have basically 3 weeks of paid vacation, same as our regular vacation. That 1 week is for 6 weeks. I get to use 3 of those weeks, and then I'm taking an additional month off, which is not paid. So in the United States, you have to have at least 3 months of like maternity leave, but those 3 months do not have to be paid. And so I'm choosing to take another month off just so I can spend time with a new baby and bond and breastfeed and develop my supply and just like recover from delivery. And, like I guess I just don't see like a month being that crazy in the grander scheme of things. If I have to extend residency for a month, it's not going to be that bad. I'm going to miss not being able to spend time with my kid over the fact that I have to extend residency for a month. Like later on in my career, like 10 years down the line, I'm going to be like, oh, I extended residency by a month. Like, who cares? Like, you're not going to remember that month, But I feel like you will regret it if you don't spend time with your kids. Um, let's see what kind of questions you guys had. Any questions, you guys, that I can help answer? Let's see. Some of you guys asked. Okay. Oops. When do I get to go home? I get to go home in a few days. Let's see. Yeah, I know, you guys, it sucks. But yeah, I mean, let's see. You guys are typing kind of fast. I'm trying to look at what questions you guys have. So, I think I'm going to do a separate video on the assumptions of family medicine. And I think that's going to be a lot of interesting ones. It made me really sad because a lot of you guys think that it's, a very boring specialty, or that it's, not a choice that you would ever want to make. Like, that's the impression I got when I was getting all the comments. But I feel like that's not the case at all. And I'm really excited to tell you why. What inspired me to go into family medicine was, or actually what inspired me to go into medicine in the first place was a preceptor of mine. I was shadowing this DO who specifically did osteopathic manipulative treatment, and just the time and the relationships that he built with his patients and the genuine connections that he made, and how better people felt after leaving his office, was what I knew that was what I wanted in medicine. And originally I wanted to be a surgeon, and because I thought it was really cool, because I get to work with my hands. But I realized that with OMT, you get to work with your hands as well, and you see instant change as well, and people coming in with pain and leaving without pain, and so I feel like it was very similar in that aspect. And so I was very happy with my choice to pursue family medicine. And also there's I would think that you would have you would be more bored. This is just my opinion, okay? Please don't come at me. But I feel like, wouldn't you be more bored in a subspecialty when all you do all day long is one organ? In family medicine, yes, I do lots of little things, and I don't do really complex things, but I still have to use my brain. I still have to use medicine every day. I still have to think about differentials and how to best treat this patient, just like any other doctor. And when I feel like it's out of my comfort zone, or I don't know enough, then I'm more than happy to pass on that patient care. And I think I read an article once, I forgot who wrote it, but she was saying how family medicine is like a good quarterback. you need to know when is the right time and who to pass to. And as of right now, there's just too many receivers and not as many good quarterbacks. And so that's why it's really hard for people in medicine to get coordinated care. Like there's fragmented care, like cardiologist wants to do this and the endocrinologist wants to do this and the OB wants to do this. Like everyone is on their own page. And I feel like as a family medicine doc, you help put that all together and help coordinate care and know your patients inside and out and know like what is done and what needs to be done. So that's just a little preview of family medicine, of why I love it and why I went into it. And it makes me so happy because I feel like the more I talk about it and the more you guys understand it, a lot of more of you are considering family medicine. And so I feel like we need more good family medicine docs in this world. Let's see what other questions we have here. What do I want to do after residency? I probably just want to work part-time. I feel like even if I work part-time, it'll still be averaging around 40 hours a week. And that would mean I'm still working like normal hours, except just it's considered part-time for a doctor, I guess. I feel like I want to watch my kids grow up. I don't want to miss anything. And so I rather work less. And then later when they start school, I will start working more. It's easier, I feel like, to start less and do more. And instead of like committing to be like, oh, I'm going to work more and then later change your mind. Cause they're like, no, you should be working more. But yeah, I plan to just, excuse me. I plan to work mainly in the outpatient setting, either with a hospital or a private physician group. I'm not sure at this moment if I will continue to deliver babies or not, but I still love to see pregnant moms and I still love to see kiddos in my practice. And then I think that working part-time will also give me the time to work on my private practice. If I wanted to do like a solo OMT practice on the side, like one day a week, then it'll allow me the time to do that. I just have to figure out the logistics because after you go into the real world, there's like non-compete clauses and just little things like that. I haven't figured that all out yet, but I will definitely make a video and let you guys know and update you once I've figured it out. Let's see. How is this pregnancy going? This pregnancy is going well, I would say, mentally. Mentally, I feel a lot better. I think during my first pregnancy, I was like, I was not ready mentally. I was probably the most fit I was ever in my whole entire life. I was 125 pounds. I had a six pack. And then all of a sudden, I went to being 100, like 75, 180 pounds. And so my body imagery, like I did not, how would I say it? Like I had body dysmorphic disorder. Like when I looked in the mirror, it's not this beautiful person that I was supposed to see. And I was just not used to it, and I couldn't accept it. And even after Wyatt was born, and I knew my body was breastfeeding and it was still changing, like it was not the same. And it put me in like a big depression as well. No one was there during my first pregnancy. Like we were all doing audition rotations, and Stan was home in California. And so I basically went through the first pregnancy by myself, and then he was there, and my mom was there for the delivery. And I felt like I had to hide it a lot too, because I was on audition rotations, and you were being judged about your performance, and I didn't want people to hold being pregnant against you. I know programs don't, but it's always a scare, you know, and if I can do it again, I would not hide it as much. um, Now, oh my gosh, my voice. Sorry, guys. Now I do feel like mentally I am more prepared. And so I am a lot happier during this pregnancy and just accepting it and embracing it. Um, but like I think I told you guys during the first pregnancy, I was spotting throughout, and I started spotting at like 14 weeks of during my pregnancy, all the way into my second trimester. Well, that's already second trimester, but I was spotting for a very, very, very long time, and that's why I didn't know originally that I was pregnant. And when I went to my doctor and they did a check, they just said that my cervix was um, like very friable, and that it was changing, and that was still closed, and so it was okay. um since I've been sick, I mean, and then this pregnancy, I guess like a month ago or two ago, I was spotting a little bit for a few days, but then it went away. So by the time I went to my appointment, I told them, and I was like, yeah, but it's gone now, so I don't think you need a check. And now I think for the last 2 weeks, I don't know if it was because I'm sick or my body's changing and whatnot, but I started spotting again, and and it hasn't gone away yet. So now I'm a little bit more concerned. I have an appointment on Friday to just like my regular appointment, and so I'm going to bring it up, and they're probably going to check. I have an ultrasound in my clinic, so I've been looking for the like fluid levels, the AFI or whatever, to see if there's enough fluid in my uterus to make sure baby's doing well. um and I feel him kick every day still, so I'm I'm not like, oh, everything's okay, but like I'm a little bit reassured that things are not really bad. So we'll just wait and see when they check my cervix. Hopefully I um will be still closed and everything is okay. I think I don't even know how many weeks I am. I think I'm almost 28 weeks. Let's check. But yeah, I think I'm almost 28 weeks in pregnancy, and I'll soon have to take my glucose test where I have to drink that nasty thing and check my blood sugar. The first time I did it, I failed the first one, and then I had to do the 3-hour test, and I failed it by like 1 point for two of the categories, and so uh, yeah. So then I'm 27 weeks basically. So yeah, I hate it. Right now I'm eating all the carbs and the candy until they tell me I have gestational diabetes, and then I'll change my diet completely. Okay, what other questions do you guys have? Um, Someone asked me what I think about radiology. I think um, I think every specialty is meant for somebody. Like you have to have a certain personality for it. I cannot imagine just staring at a computer screen all day and looking at pictures. I did a radiology rotation because I do think it's important to be able to read your own scans. Um, well, at least like look at your own scans and have the radiologist confirm. But like when I was sitting there, even the radiologist says, like, it's really radiology is really fun. It's not fun watching someone do radiology. So I think it's like just depends on your personality. Like I cannot be a pathologist because I cannot sit in a dark room and not interact with patients. Um, Radiology is a little bit different. There's interventional radiology where you still do procedures and interact with patients, but most of the time you're looking at images. Um, and I'm just not down with that. So I think you just really have to figure out what is your niche, what is it that you like. Just because you like it doesn't mean that everybody else has to like it. I don't know. Yeah, there's so many different aspects of medicine that when you basically, I don't know, like there's so many different aspects of medicine and you really don't know what you like until you experience it. I've talked to a lot of like nurses, PAs, other physicians, and people just going through the process. And I ask them, hey, like what got you into medicine? Like what inspired you to go this route and do what you did? Um, and I asked a nurse practitioner this that I was working with, and she was saying how, originally she was a nurse, and then she went to this NP who was really nice to her and spent lots of time with her and made her feel like a certain way. And I feel like she could have, that could have been like an OBGYN, it could have been a surgeon, it could have been anybody. And another med student, she said she is going into peds oncology because there was an oncologist who she rotated with who inspired her. And so I feel like where you end up in medicine really depends on the people that you inspire or the people that inspire you. And so I'm hoping as a family medicine doc that I can inspire some people to go into family medicine. But yeah, it really just depends. Like I ask people, well, a lot of people go into PA versus like other specialties because um, the the schooling requirement is a lot shorter than NPs and becoming physicians, but they still get a lot of autonomy and they get to bounce around in different subspecialties. And so, yeah. But I'm reading all your guys' comments. Oh, and then someone asked, what do you think about pharmacy? Um, my cousin is a pharmacist, and I always looked up to her when I was growing up. She's a lot older than me, I think, but she went to pharm school, and then I think she wanted to specialize in um, oncology medicine. I don't know, but she was just like my idol. and and then I wanted to go into pharmacy as well. So I was just like, oh, I don't know, pharmacy or medicine. So when I went to UCSD, I chose a biochemistry major, and I thought that that would give me the option to do either or. And later I realized that uh, pharmacology is super hard, and I can't spell. And still to this day, bugs and drugs are the hardest for me. And so I knew that that was not the right path. So it's, as I said, it's good for some people, and you just need to figure out what it is that you love about medicine that will push you in the right career. Congratulations, Miller, who matched into emergency medicine. A lot of my friends are also emergency medicine docs. Let's see. Hi from Brazil. Wyatt's speech. I have not, oh, guys, I have not been able to see Wyatt since his surgery, really. I think he's speaking a little bit more, but from the snaps and from the FaceTime that I was able to like talk to him about it, he is still like saying a lot of same things, like ada, ada, you know. it's not developing as fast as I want it to, but I suspect that this is normal. I'm just very impatient. We have also tried to schedule him for a speech therapist, but their only opening is not until May, which is super long from now, right? Because it's only March. Yeah, that's crazy. Um, so we have to wait like 2 months before Wyatt is even able to get into speech therapy. So I have no idea. We're just trying to talk to him as much as we can, and I don't know, expose him to different things as much as we can. He still doesn't like to mimic us. Like when I like he'll say mom like super well or dad, um but and bubbles and things like that, like things that he already knows, like he'll say. But then um like when I ask him to say like hug, hug, or please, or other things like that, he won't repeat me. So that's kind of sad, like that I haven't been able to see that yet. But we'll see. I am home I'll be home in the next few days, but I'm starting my inpatient adult medicine rotation. So that will still be like 80 hours a week, and I get 1 day off a week. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. Uh, let's see what other comments you guys have. Uh, okay. Okay, is someone ask, do you have friends who come to med school after grad school? I have a lot of friends who have done a post-bac program, like a master's program or something like that, and then they come to med school. I was actually part of Phi Delta Epsilon, Phi DE. It's a pre-medical fraternity. And so a lot of the people there actually went into medical school, but also a lot of them went into PA school or dental school, and they just figured it out along the way. It's not necessarily that everyone who says, oh, I'm pre-med, automatically becomes a physician. I think UCSD is very, it's not, I don't know why, like it has like it has like its own medical school, but it doesn't have like a really good pre-med program. Like it doesn't have a pre-med society. It doesn't have like one of those things where when you apply to med school they ask you for like this packet of things that all pre-med's supposed to have. Like I never signed anything where I was that I said like, oh, I'm going to be pre-med now, like I just decided one day that I was doing this pre-med route, and that's what I did. But I don't think anyone really helped me. The school was just so big that like I don't know if it was helpful. So a lot of you guys following me who are undergrad or who are trying to pursue medicine ask if there's a difference between going to a med school, going to a university or going to a community college. This only applies to the US. So, or going to a state school. And to be honest, a lot of my friends who went to state schools are much smarter than I am. I do not think that it matters in the acceptance process of whether you go to, like, say, a community college and the transfer, or say you applied straight from a state school. Like, the systems are still very like, I don't think it's biased in that sense. Unless maybe if you're trying to go to an Ivy League school like Harvard or Brown or Stanford, I don't know. Like I was not interested in going to any of those schools, and so it's hard for me to really give you the true answer of what it really is. Um, Having a lot of my friends go through subspecialties and match into subspecialties, like um, I know for people who want to do like my friends who wanted to do emergency medicine, OB, family medicine, pediatrics, um, like none of them had issues with going to those schools being a DO. And then I just realized that, or not just realized, but I've come to realize that it's a little bit harder when you want to do a surgical specialty just because I think there is still bias there. There's still bias against DOs. I don't know why. Um, but that's what I've heard with the new oncoming class with people who have tried. Yes, I have had friends in my school, particularly, who matched into like neurosurgery, ophthalmology, anesthesiology, dermatology, and what's the other one? Orthopedics. They have matched into all those things, but they were stellar. Like they are top of our class, very bright students. And so it does put you a little bit of a disadvantage. Not saying that it's impossible, but your scores, like your step score has to be like 30 points above MD step score for them to consider looking at your application. And so in that aspect, yes, it's a little bit harder, but is it impossible? No. And a lot of you guys, let's see, more questions. How is my internship experience? And do I have time to study? I feel like it's a lot different now. Like I don't study as much in residency as I did in medical school. I felt in medical school I had to study every day. Like I would go to class from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and then take an hour break to work out and then take another break to eat. But then after that until midnight, I would be studying straight. In residency, it's a little bit different because you're actually learning as you do. So the patients that I take care about or the patients that I care for, I'm actually learning about them and management. And it was so nice to have like a preceptor this month who questioned me. Because a lot of preceptors just teach you based on what they know, like preceptors tell you to do this way or take care of a patient this way because it's standard of care, but it's just because that's the way that they have been taking care of patients for years. But medicine has evolved and there's new studies every day that say like why something's right and why something's wrong, and I feel like it's our job as a generation to really be up to date on the new literature and give our patients the best care. And so when I would say things like, oh, this baby is on its fourth day of illness, so it's possible that according it's possible that their symptoms will become worse in day 5, day 6, according to the natural course of RSV. And he's just like, don't ever say that again. Like, there's no scientific evidence behind that. And the reason why you're told that is because your preceptors have told you that, and that's what they have learned. But it's totally not true, and it's not evidence-based. And so it's hard to say what the course of RSV is, even if your kid does have RSV, just because it could be RSV plus another virus. So it's really hard to tell. And so another one was that people kept saying that if you give fluids for a kiddo with like thick secretions, it'll help thin the secretions to help with suctioning. And and so it makes sense when my preceptor told me that, but when I mentioned it, my preceptor also said that is also total BS because there's no literature that says that it thins the secretions. And it just, everyone's been doing it because that's what you've been told. But there's no literature that says that if you give someone fluids, it changes the viscosity at all. So I'm just like, oh man, I'm questioning the way I think about things. I'm questioning the way I view medicine. And I guess like you can't go through life just listening to other people. Like medicine is constantly changing, and you as the new doctors, the younger doctors, should be reading and doing your own research, because ultimately you'll be teaching the next round of doctors. So yeah, I thought that was really awesome, and one of the things I learned that this month. Um, what other questions are there? You guys have? Oh my gosh, what's today's topic? There's just so many different topics that I'm just like rambling on about. Is there any specific things that you guys want me to talk about? I guess it's too late now. This is just like a rambling session. But basically, I don't have time off. Basically, to review, I'm sick. I don't have time off. I don't have PTO. I'm working through it. Afrin, you're only supposed to use for 4 days or 3 days, or else you get rebound congestion. I have severely bad allergies, and I'm staying. Oh, yes, I don't know if I said this already. I have severely bad allergies, and I'm staying in this room where I doubt they even clean. And they allow cats and dogs and animals, and I don't know what other animals they allow here, but I'm pretty sure I'm deathly allergic to cats. Like every time I go into a place where a cat, my nose starts closing up, my throat sometimes starts closing up, my face starts to swell, and then I just have to get out of there. It depends on what the cat eats, though. I feel like I'm not allergic to all cats, and so I've been taking this expired loratadine, aka Claritin. And since it's expired, I was just like, oh, instead of taking 1 a day, I'll just take 2 a day because it's just not as potent. But I don't think it's actually working at all, because in studies, loratadine was compared to placebo, and it has basically the same effect as placebo. So for all of you allergy people, I highly recommend Zyrtec. It's called cetirizine. So look at the active ingredient on the bottle. So when you take Zyrtec, turn it around. The first thing on the top, it says active ingredient, and it says cetirizine, and then how many milligrams. Just find the one that says that active ingredient that does not have that doesn't say Zyrtec. Most of the time it's right next to it, or it says as compared to Zyrtec. Just get that one because it's literally like 50% off or something like that. And it's the exact same medicine, just not brand name. Like I got the Afrin, and the Afrin that is sold is like $9. The one I got right next to it, same thing, $2. So save your money. Look at the active ingredient. Yes, this was my only option, because my program is paying for it. So I guess I don't have any family in this area. I don't have places I can stay. I mean, it's nice that it's in my own room. I have my own bathroom. I have somewhat of a kitchen, but literally I'm dying. Why can't you take antihistamines while breastfeeding? You can take antihistamines while breastfeeding. It's just a lot of moms don't want to, just because antihistamines kind of block letdown. You know, it it stops you from having a runny nose. So it can stop you, um, decrease your milk letdown or decrease your milk supply. And that's what a lot of moms are worried about. Same with like birth control. They don't want to start estrogen birth control right away until their milk is fully established, just because then they won't have enough milk. So I remember when I was breastfeeding and I just moved to Washington, my allergies were insane. But I didn't want to take anything because I was just like, oh, I'm still breastfeeding. I still want to feed Wyatt and all that stuff. So, yeah. Another question: how do you manage time between your husband, Wyatt, and studying and working? Any tips? I am not the best at this. I would say I feel like I spend a lot of time working now just because I'm a resident. Um, but I feel like Stan is very understanding, and he makes time. Like we make time when we can, I guess. So number one first is I work. So I have a set schedule for working from this time to this time. And then after that, we schedule dinner together. Every day we have to eat dinner together. And then the third is that after dinner, I like to play Wyatt for a little bit before I actually fall asleep on the couch. And then Stan puts him to bed. And then if I wake up, if I don't feel too tired, then after that is when Stan and I just like lay on the couch and watch TV together. Um, I do admit that I've been very bad about prioritizing our relationship. Like we've only been on like, I want to say 4 or 5 dates since Wyatt has been born. And a lot of you guys were just like, that's crazy because your parents always prioritize their relationship first before the kids. I don't know, maybe that's just my cultural culture that we prioritize the kid first. Like we hang out at the park together, but that's not really a date, you know? And so and then with this new baby coming, I really don't know when we're ever going to spend time together. And I know it's important. I just honestly don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know how to let go. I don't know how to just leave the kids with a babysitter and not worry about them and go on a date. So like I just don't know because like I live in Washington and we don't have like good babysitters. Like there's no one we really trust. Um, and all my friends are in residency. And so like what am I gonna do? So you guys can send me your suggestions. Like I'm more than open to because I do feel like um my relationship is suffering because I work so much and because we have 2 kids and because we don't go on dates and we don't prioritize our relationship. But Stan has been very understanding in that aspect. And he's been really patient. And I think he's just waiting for when I have more time. uh, oh, yeah. And apparently my cousin Grayson is on here and he wanted me to mention that he's my cousin. Hi, Grayson. um, let's see. Grace. Hi, Grace. Grace asked me how long did I take maternity leave for my first pregnancy. I was pregnant during my 4th year of medical school. And nobody knew that I was pregnant during my auditions or my interviews. And then by the time I was showing, I had super easy rotations and I delivered 2 weeks before I walked to get my diploma for med school. And then I started residency 8 weeks after Wyatt was born. Yep. And so that's why I chose to do additional month now, because looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy that I'm only choosing to have 7 weeks off, and then going back to residency. But I did the same thing with Wyatt. Like, Wyatt was 8 weeks and I started residency. And it's never going to be enough. Like, I'm never going to feel like I'm ready to leave my child. And I'm never going to feel like it's the right time to go back. So I'm hoping that it's enough. And if it's not, then I'll just take more time. But yeah, it was a rough recovery during my first pregnancy. Like, I labored for, I should do a, like, my delivery story, because it was crazy. Uh, I was induced. Um, I had gestational diabetes. I was induced at 39 and 3. And then I was pushing from 8 a.m., 8 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. Like, not wimpy pushes, like literally pushing the whole time. And I was so exhausted. I think the next few days when I came home, like, my emotions were everywhere, and I literally couldn't even walk because of the pain. And I felt like I don't in my head, I was just like, why did I even want to deliver this baby at this time? Like, I should have just waited. And that's what I'm doing with this pregnancy. Like, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait till the baby comes. And that being that, because I hated the induction process. Um, but yeah, like, Wyatt's head literally came out like a cone. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can show you this. It's hilarious. But he did need some resuscitation. His heart rate dipped a little bit. He needed positive pressure. And he was a little blue, and they needed to suction him. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Whoa. Look at his head. Look how long his head is. It's a lot of molding. Yeah, he looks like a little banana. But yeah, it was crazy. And I was just exhausted after that. And then my milk didn't come in for like 5 days. And so he was up all the time. He was hungry. I was breastfeeding him through an SNS. If you guys don't know what an SNS is, it's like a little tube that you put like next to your nipple, and then a syringe, and baby kind of eats through that if your milk doesn't come. So then I was breastfeeding for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes on each side. And after that, I had to pump to help stimulate my milk to come in. And then by the time I was done, he was hungry again. So I felt like I was in like this vicious cycle of trying to breastfeed, not being successful, and getting down on myself, and constantly being stuck to a wall to pump. It was like the most miserable thing. So yeah, I hope that I have a better hang on it this time. And so we'll see how it goes. Let's see. And so let's see. Someone's asking, would I DIY lash extensions right before labor and delivery time? I am Prego Premed. Awesome. Congratulations, Tara. Yeah, I mean, these lashes have been since the same ones since, no, I lied. So after I did the video, I think a week later or a week and a half later or something like that, I decided to take everything off and then put on a new set, just because like it was all wonky. But this set has been for like 3 weeks now, 3 week, going on the 4th week. So it's been a lifesaver for me. since I've been sick. Like literally I wake up, I put moisturizer on my face, and then I put on like a primer, and then I just go to work because and then I have the lashes. So I look like half decent. But I do not know what I would have done if I had to actually wake up and do my makeup. Um, let's see. Oh my gosh, you guys have so many questions. So many of you guys are here now. You guys are so awesome. I love reading all your comments from everywhere. Like there's people from India, Brazil, Italy, Russia, Canada. You guys are awesome. I was super sick the other day and my dad called me and he watches my videos too. And so he only calls me about the big things, like if I'm crying in my videos or like if it's something about Wyatt. So obviously he called me after Wyatt's surgery and he was just like, "How did Wyatt do?" Oh, and I'm just like, "Dad, I'm so tired. I just got home from work. It's like 7:30. I'm gonna go to bed. If you want to know more, can you please just go call Stan because I do not have like any more energy to talk to you right now. It's so bad, but he's very understanding. But yeah, it's a nice way to keep in contact with my family as well. So yeah, if you guys have any tips on how I can spend more time with Stan or feel not as guilty and not have as much mom guilt for leaving Wyatt and a new baby with a sitter, then please let me know. Any suggestions are highly appreciated, or just like from your experience and your stories. Like, I just, I just don't know how to let go. Like, I don't know how to not prioritize Wyatt. Like, the first thing I want to do is like talk to Wyatt, hold Wyatt, and like cuddle with Wyatt. Or like even with a new baby, I'm just like, oh, I want to do this. Like everything is for the kid. Like I have not shopped for myself. I haven't bought makeup in such a long time. Like every time we go eat somewhere, I'm like, well, why eat this? Like I I feed him first. I don't know. Like I don't know how to not be a mom, I guess. And I know it's bad. Like, I know that it's not healthy to not prioritize other things like my relationship. But at the same time, I just don't know how. Like, I just don't know how to do it. Grace also asked, do you have a baby registry for your second baby yet? No. There are some things that I think that I do need for the second baby. We will be using a lot of the same clothes and a lot of the same things for the baby, but I feel like um, we're celebrating Wyatt's birthday and having the baby shower at the same time. And so I don't know if we'll get that many things for the baby shower. So I don't know. I guess I'll have one, but I'm not expecting to get anything from it just because this is our second baby. I don't know how that works. Um, Click asks how old I am. I just turned 30. Yay, 30 club. Ooh. I think I was pregnant at like 26, 27 with Wyatt. I didn't get to, Grayson, I am not 31. I'm 30. I did not get to celebrate like a big like 30th. So I'm waiting till after this pregnancy or like maybe when I turn 31 to have like the huge celebration because I just went out to eat. Like I didn't get to drink. I didn't get to party. I didn't get to like, I don't know. I used to be a big partier in college. Like I used to go to Vegas like once a quarter and have a blast with my girlfriends. But now it's like not that at all. So I want to do like one last hurrah. We'll see next year how it turns out after I have this baby. Let's see. What other questions? Oh, someone's from Korea. Oh, from Dubai. Oh my gosh, you guys are from everywhere. Hi. This is so awesome. Someone asked, how do you deal with the male centered culture in more male dominated specialties when you rotate, aka surgery? Uh, yes, I also still think that there's a bias between like men and women. I think it can be the same if you want to do OB and you're a male, you know. Um, but I was with a awesome So I did a surgical rotation during my third year, which really inspired me at that time to go into surgery, even though I was working crazy hours. I was going in at like 4 a.m. and not leaving till 2 o'clock in the morning. It was crazy. But one of my preceptors, she was previously an OB and then she wanted to do general surgery. And so she switched over. And she just told me, like you have to be confident. You have to answer with conviction and basically your delivery. When someone asks you a question, you have to be confident because most of your guy counterparts will answer confidently, I guess you would say. And so, not only that, one, know your shit, basically. So study. And two, don't be so timid. Um, be more assertive and answer those questions because I feel like most of your guy counterparts will do the same thing. I also have lots of very sweet and kind and passive friends who went on to become general surgeons. So I guess it just depends on your preceptor and their preference. I would say know what your preceptor wants and deliver that. You also have to be a people person once you're a doctor. Would you still go through this medical journey all over again now that you're a working mom in medicine? um, would I go through all of this again? It depends. I think that if I were to go through medicine again and all the circumstances were the same, and I didn't have a family, and I didn't have Wyatt, and I didn't have children, then yes, I would. I love medicine. It brings me such joy. And I feel like there is no other specialty where I can do osteopathic manipulative treatment. Um, and I've touched so many people and I've changed so many people and I have helped relieve so much pain that I feel, excuse me, that I feel like the experience is worth it. Um, but at the same time, like if I had a new baby and I tried to go through med school, I don't know if I can do it. Med school is really hard. Med school is time consuming and it sort of breaks you down as a person. And for those who smile going through it and saying it's great and it hasn't changed them at all and they haven't lost some relationships, like, I don't know, like I would question that. I'm always going to be truthful and I'm always going to be honest with you guys. Um, I have I think I've cried more about medical school than anything else in my life. And my parents are divorced and like I've been through some rough things. But I don't think I've cried more in a small time span than I did than when I was in medical school. Like, I questioned myself all the time. I questioned if I was good enough, if it was the right choice for me. And so it's mentally and physically hard. Is the end result worth it? And am I happy now? Like, yes, I am happy with my choice now. But it's hard to say. I would never want to go through medical school again. Um, I would say the first 2 years are the roughest, just because you have no, um, you have you put in so much, but you don't get as much in return. Like, I feel like now when I put something in, I see the result coming out. Like, I see my patients get better. I see them happy. I see their lives change. In med school, you're reading from a textbook, you're learning from a textbook. Your whole life is in a classroom and from other preceptors. And you don't get that positive feedback. Yes, once in a while, a preceptor will tell you you're doing such a good job or you ace the test, but that's all it is. Like, you're studying and taking board exams for the first 2 years. You get no patient interaction. And isn't that why we went into medicine? Like, isn't that why we all became doctors, is to use medicine to interact with other people and to help educate other people and to help other people get better? Like, you don't get any of that. You don't get any of that in the first 2 years of med school, and it sucks. Um, and that's why a lot of people flounder, and that's why a lot of people go through depression. And so if it was and then the third and fourth year, that's a lot better, because then it's not as good, just because you're not responsible for those patients. Like, you don't have ownership of them, but still you get to see the potential of what life could be. And I think even now, like, residency is tough because the hours are tough and it's grueling, and you see like the corporate side of things, and you see the money aspect of things, and how people, like, you're stuck in the middle, because sometimes patients are mad at you because they're saying you charge them this much to be seen. At the other end, you're like, I don't charge you anything. I just see you. And then the company, like the hospital or whatever, insurance company charges you. And I spent so many hours trying to fight for things. Like, example, I had a patient who, um, I was seeing because she was in a car accident. She had a long hospital stay. She had multiple surgeries. And then she was diagnosed with heart failure. And so she was coming to see me for a hospital follow up. Um, After like 1 to 2 visits, I was like, something is wrong. Like, this lady is now dependent on oxygen, and she was not previously. Yes, she broke a couple of ribs, but those ribs are healed now, and they're chalking it up to the fact that she has newly diagnosed heart failure, and that's why she needs to be on oxygen. And so I didn't believe that. And so I wanted to order a CT scan to rule out a pulmonary embolism. One, because she's gone through multiple surgeries. Two, because she was in a major car accident. Yes, they did a CT scan while she was in the hospital, but she could have developed something. And now she has this persistent shortness of breath requiring oxygen. And so I had to argue with the insurance company for quite some time before they would actually approve the imaging study. And guess what? She had a pulmonary embolism that I caught on the outpatient setting and possibly saved her life. She had multiple pulmonary embolisms. And then the tech who did the scan was just like, you can't leave. And she was telling me that she didn't want to go into another hospital stay and that she wanted to manage this outpatient. And so I told her, I'm comfortable with managing this outpatient with you if you are able to give yourself your own shots. But yeah, those are the kind of moments where you're like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Like I just saved someone's life as a family medicine doctor, not an internist or someone else. Like I knew medicine and I advocated for my patient. And so now they're alive. And I've been with her through so much. And I've met her husband and her daughter. And now I give her like steroid shots and like, steroid shots into her shoulder instead of going to an orthopedic surgeon. Like things like that. Like, excuse me. But, like it's it's hard because you get pushback from both ways. Like you get pushback from insurance companies and sometimes you get pushback from patients. And I miss the time when medicine was just the doctor and the patient and none of this like computer work and documentation and insurance and all that stuff. Like I miss it so much. But anyways, that was an amazing story of how I saved someone's life being just a lowly family medicine resident. So, um, yeah. So I am just waiting for Stan and Wyatt now to come hang out for today. Hopefully, we'll eat something good. I still have a couple days here at this hospital. And right when I come back, I will be starting inpatient medicine, adult medicine. So I think that with each passing month, I grow as a resident and I grow as a doctor. And my goal for the next month is to be more of a leader. I think the first time that I did hospitalist medicine, I was supposed to be the senior, but I felt bad about giving my intern more of a workload. But I realize now that I should be overshadowing and viewing everything and taking ownership and just watching everything that he or she does as compared to trying to just take over the work myself. Um, so, that being said, wish me luck, guys. Thank you guys all for joining this experience with me. I know I've been all over the place, but I hope you guys enjoy this type of Live stream. I hope to do it more often. Tell me what time works best for you, so I can do it closer in that time. We might have to do one of these next week as well because I'm not sure when I'll have time to actually film and edit a video. I'm hoping like this next week I can film some of the stuff in this other hospital, but we'll see. Um, so yeah, thank you so much, guys. I love you. Thank you for supporting me and continuing to support me and Wyatt and Stan. Like Stan especially loves it when you guys comment stuff to him. It makes his day. So send him some love as well, okay? Bye.